Hi guys, welcome to Flash Fact. Today we're going to take a last look at the supercharges. In this case, we're going to use our friend Magneto, and we're going to take a look at the mental supercharges. Uh, we should pretty much have covered all the various supercharges abilities through these three videos, but you never know. Maybe at some point I'll decide to add one more. But for now, this should be the last one for now. Pretty much all the supercharges pretty much all the powers have some sort of healing supercharges. Uh, and this, in the case of the mantle one, it's called convalescence. So essentially, it pretty much heals your character for a bit, and it prevents also some damage and a few other benefits. But pretty much every power has a convalescence type supercharge. It's pretty useful when you play solo. It adds some extra survivability to your character. It allows you to heal yourself a bit, so you can cycle between your cycling between your supercharge, your health potion, and even your orbital drop, supply drop if you have them. You can pretty much heal yourself fairly well. Also, Gadget has a supercharge that's specific to it, where it summons a little drone essentially. Uh, Mantle has one that's called Mass Hysteria that pretty much transforms you into an apparition, a phantasm, and also that will summon a few other phantasm that will protect you and defend you. And for the other supercharge, essentially it has a bolt barrage, which is pretty much just a way to do some quick damage. And it has Bastion, which is pretty much one of the most useful supercharge for Mantle that I think is that it essentially protects yourself and seven other members, and it restores their power over time. So that essentially I was using Bastion for forever, and I remember there was a time when people were calling me crazy to use Bastion. They were telling me that I should use Word of Power instead. And strangely enough, at some point after a certain update, everyone started using Bastion, so I wasn't crazy anymore. And of course, there's the iconic supercharge of Word of Power, which essentially I would much prefer use Bastion, but that's me. I know some people prefer Word of Power still, but Bastion is much more useful in my book. So let's take a quick look at those at what each. Also, you have with Mantle, you have Invisibility, which essentially would allow you to do pretty much the same thing that we did previously with our gadget character and stealth. Invisibility pretty much works the same way. So you won't see much difference because I have essentially the same loadout for both. But you could have a different loadout for invisibility. And in this case, invisibility allows you to have all the supercharges. None of the mental supercharges are prevented in invisibility. And also, even normally, you can have all the supercharges if you want. For some reason, Gadget, some of the supercharges will not be there for every loadout, but in this case, we pretty much can have all the supercharges in the loadouts if we want to. So, so if we wanted to have extra superchargers that we use only once in a while, we could have them in our invisibility loadout and use them when we need to. So we'll just show you essentially two of the supercharges. Because convalescence, the first one, it pretty much heals you. That's what it does. So for a short while, your character will heal. So we will the second supercharge is Bastion, which essentially puts a shield around your character and will put a shield around every characters in your group. So that shield will protect not only yourself, but all your group will be protected by a similar shield. And also the shield. Not only do you have a shield, but you also gain some power over time. So now we need to recharge our supercharge in order to be able to show you the other power I want to show you. We'll get there. We'll get there. And if you're wondering how come I have two sparring targets in my base, essentially I got the collection for one and I purchased the other in the marketplace. So normally you should have only one spar. You're supposed to have only one sparring target in your base, but if you do gather the collections and if you do purchase the sparring target, then you'll have it twice. And it's pretty much true for all the amenities other than the teleporter. The teleporter you can only buy it. Not sure why you would want to have two teleporters in your base, but anyway. So almost there. There we go. So essentially we're going to use mass hysteria and you're going to see what happens. So as you see, it transforms you into a spectre-like creature, and you have these five apparitions around you that will help you in battle. So let's see what happens. This is not something I would use as a controller. The simple reason being that while you're transformed, oh no, you probably could. Okay, forget what I said. Maybe I should give it a try someday. It's not really something I used much, if at all. Usually the supercharge I use is Bastion. It's pretty useful to protect your group. So as you can see, the transformation lasts quite a bit. And there we go. So that's one of the few supercharges that actually transforms your character. I would say it's the only one, but there may be another one that I'm misremembering. So again, essentially with your invisibility, you would have access to another loadout. Then when you get back to normal, you have your normal loadout, and technically you have another loadout, which is if you switch your role, then you would have another loadout. But you cannot switch role during combat. So if you want to switch loadout during combat, your best option would actually be to use invisibility. So what you could do is that you have your regular loadout for let's say for your controller, on which you could have maybe one supercharge. But if you need, if there's a supercharge that you think you could need in certain situation, but that you don't really need all the time, then you could put it on your invisibility loadout and have access to it using invisibility. As you can see, the cooldown isn't that long, but there is a bit of a cooldown, so it's not as if you can switch back and forth at will. But it's you have the option to switch at least a bit. So that's pretty much it for the supercharges. So if maybe someday I'll make another video about maybe other supercharges if there's some changes in the future, or if there's some new supercharges that I discover that could be useful to talk about. But other than that, we're pretty much done for today. So that's it for now. So hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.